Go live. Okay, I should be live. Let me reset the chat here. That didn't do it. Oh, okay, there it goes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Stupid, sexy copyright laws. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Madam Glitch. Hi, VT Merrick. Okay, so we get the nets up early and surround the whole stream with foam. That should stop the bots from detecting stupid things. I wish. Oh, do I need to make this even fucking smaller? I wonder if it was music it detected, but I don't know. I'm not gonna make it any fucking smaller, screw it. And I'd gotten behind on the last chat, so there was a bunch of stuff I didn't get to answer. Hi Flash, hi Cal, hi Special Iron. So about how that kick was written into the movie because the squeaky, screaming girl was a martial artist. Hi Derpy, hi Red Spade. Sorry if I'm not saying hi to everybody, but I saw all you guys just a couple minutes ago, so. Hi Living Corpse. 2B, does it mean we're going to see Android butt? What? Have we had any bot visitations so far tonight? Nope, that's like the only thing that's gone right. YouTube be like, we have such sites to let you show. I got about 21 viewers. That's pretty good. I think I'm just going to go ahead here. So remember how Jake had met a girl online who was supposed to be at the party? Well, that was actually the host who ended up getting a lot of information. Oh, have such sites to not let you show, of course. He did mention earlier that he told her all about his horrible friends and how they're all to blame for Adam's death.
The myth of Lamasham, the puzzle box, Hellworld, how the game itself would be the perfect weapon to do everybody in. I take my hat off to you. I couldn't have done it without you. Call it poetic justice for the people that buried my son.
There's nothing poetic about
son
this
of a
movie.
Bitch! You were never even there for your own son. Your son spent his life waiting for a father who never came home.
If his father never came home, when the hell was this picture taken and why does he look so happy in it?
You still think you have a fighting chance, don't you, Jake?
So I guess now Jake is out of the hallucination.
Chelsea! Let me out!
Hellworld never really even existed. It was in your mind the whole time.
And yeah, in case anyone didn't pick up on this, we're shown Chelsea in her grave in reality. You know, the edge of this grave is level with the ground. You could practically just roll right out of it instead of just flailing and screaming like an idiot while he dumps dirt on you. Then again, flailing and screaming like an idiot is what Chelsea does best. He explains the there's drug one more and how after it this.
Works. That induces a highly impressionable trance-like euphoria.
Nothing about how it caused all of them to share a hallucination, though. And yes, the cell phones were real.
It was through these cell phones I could communicate subliminal suggestions. Your own fertile imaginations did the rest.
He essentially scared them to death by making them think they were dying. So if you die in the hallucination, you die in the real world. I guess it has a tiny bit in common with Stay Alive. So does that mean that he basically narrated Mike getting a blowjob and Jake having sex with the nun lady?
There were freakouts, confessions, negotiations, orgasms.
Yes. Yes, it does. What the fuck, movie?
It was all so exhausting. I barely had enough energy to go back and enjoy myself at the party.
Good point. He's got a lot of energy for an older guy.
Allison severely gouged herself trying to claw for her imaginary neck device. Eric's asthma took him out. And
yeah, this is the last one with Doug Bradley, which is partly why it pisses me off so much. Wait, so none of them died from fear except Mike? Whatever, I guess.
Your dream's over, Chelsea.
God damn it, Chelsea's scream makes me want to take a screwdriver to my eardrums.
Your nightmare is just about to begin.
Take the hell pill, Lance Henriksen narrates. It turns out that in reality the police are digging her out. And then the rest. And like you said, they're all dead except for her and Jake. What a shame, I cared about these characters so much.
We made it, Jake.
You'll be missing for days. And somebody made a call a little while ago. We traced the call to this location.
Turns out that her call did go through to the cops. Or Adams, somehow.
Milk egg spread squick.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to catch the host. He escaped to a
God,
hotel
here we go.
room. He looks through Adams' things and finds a puzzle box. Hey, that one looks like the real thing. Oh, let me guess. Everything about Lamar Chand in the box is real after all.
Welcome to hell.
You're a little late, Pinhead. The audience has been there for the last hour and a half.
I should have come a long time ago. Your son was quite the prodigy.
Apparently Adam wasn't just into the game, he was into the real thing as well, and opened a gateway to hell. I guess that's supposed to be the thing he was right about.
I gotta wake up.
How's that for a wake-up call?
Kind of proud of this bit.
You know, for a long time, I didn't even know that there were any Hellraiser sequels after Bloodline, until Revelations came out and it was all over the internet, and I thought, oh, there's a straight-to-DVD Hellraiser sequel that's apparently really bad? It wasn't until I was working on my video about the top 5 things I hate about Silent Hill Revelation, and I wanted to comment on how the missionary looked like a female Cenobite. So I did an image search for those so I could show examples. I expected to find images of just, Deep Throat, Dreamer, and Angelique. But along with those I found, among other things, a female chatterer. I clicked on that, which took me to the Cenobite Wiki, which turned out to be one hell of a rabbit hole. I ended up finding a list of every Cenobite to show up in a Hellraiser movie and comic book, and it was fascinating to learn about all these Cenobites I didn't know about, and I kept seeing Hellraiser titles I had never heard of, like Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Hellseeker, Hellraiser Deader. I found out that there were a whole lot of straight-to-DVD Hellraiser movies I had never heard of, and I decided to watch all of them, if only to see all these Cenobites in action. And that's what led me to make these videos. It was a domino effect that was started with my Silent Hill Revelation video. By the way, it's not lost on me that both Silent Hill and Hellraiser both have a sequel called Revelations. But yeah, a lot of people hate them, including Clive Barker for the most part, and it's easy to see why. Hellraiser was sort of made in response to that horror fad in the 80s where the villain was either a silent killer with a mask or had a big personality and made wisecracks. Clive Barker wanted to get away from that. I kind of said a lot of this when I covered the first movie, but it bears repeating. Pinhead was a movie monster who was more in the vein of Dracula. He's dark and gothic, and Doug Bradley took this role very seriously. He's a very deep and compelling character who should never have a one-liner. This movie was already bad, but at least the last 3 movies managed to not give Pinhead dialogue that was completely out of character. Like, even if you didn't like those movies, you had to at least appreciate the moments with Pinhead. This movie actually ruined him. Anyway,
I don't know how many, if anybody picked up on that, but that whole rant was kind of inspired by something Spoonie did when he was covering, I can't think of the games now, but it was some PC series of games, and he had this bit where, I think it was when the line, I can't even think of the line, holy shit, I can't remember anything about it. What's a paladin? That was it. Someone went, what's a paladin? And then it just cuts to Spoonie being all silent, filled with silent rage, and then he goes on this long rant, and it came across as really unscripted. So it was really interesting. I obviously, mine wasn't as rage-filled as his, because, I just have a different, Ultima, thank you, I have a different style than Spoonie, but my rant there about Pinhead was 100% inspired by Spoonie's Ultima 4? Was it Ultima 4 that he was, whatever. Yeah, what's a paladin in Ultima? Everyone's caught up now. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, it was totally inspired by that.
Anyway, the movie actually ends with Chelsea and Jake driving off together. He shows her that sunset and...
Hello, Chelsea.
I guess the drugs haven't worn off yet?
What's a pinhead?
Otherwise, they're being haunted by his
It was
ghost.
10? I didn't realize there were that many.
Meanwhile, the police find the host's hotel room and there's blood everywhere and the puzzle box.
I don't know much about Ultima.
I don't know why any of that needed to be shown. I guess they're reminding us that more sequels are on the way. If you haven't figured it out yet, I think this movie is fucking terrible, and I'm not gonna defend it like I did with the others. With the other straight-to-DVD sequels, I get why a lot of people don't like them, and it probably helped that I went in with low expectations. Like I said, I literally just wanted to see unique Cenobites. But those first three kind of surprised me. They were flawed, but I felt like the people making them were legitimately trying to make good movies, even if they didn't succeed on every level. I thought they showed a kind of respect for the source material. Well, the first two more so than the third. Deader really felt like all the Hellraiser stuff was shoehorned in, but it came across to me that everyone involved did the best they could with it, you know? I could still kind of enjoy it if I could mentally separate it from the franchise. Hellworld definitely has shoehorned in Hellraiser stuff, but unlike Deader, it just doesn't work, even on its own. The last three sequels at least had a main character that I cared about or was at least interested in, even if I didn't like him per se. This movie has 5 main characters and none of them are compelling in any way. They're all annoying to varying degrees and the plot is stupid. What's the point of having the person behind all of this be Adam's absent father? I think this movie's biggest problem, at least as far as the backstory, is that it totally fails at show don't tell. Adam is dead before the movie takes place, and we don't know anything
This
about him.
twist is so
and then his
stupid, it
friends
makes no
blame
sense.
themselves for his death. Okay, why? Did Adam reach out to them and they ignored him? Did he become distant and they didn't notice? They literally just say that they don't do enough to help Adam to the point that his death by his own hand is all their fault, and we're supposed to just take their word that they have reason to think that. Same goes for the reveal about Adam's father. We're given absolutely zero reasons as to why he would care about Adam's death.
I'm so
What,
angry.
just because they happen to be related? That's not enough motivation for him to go to this much effort to stage this ridiculously elaborate revenge scheme. I mean, I love Lance Henriksen and he does a great job, but this character just doesn't make any sense. By the way, this isn't the first movie where he played a character that ended up getting bisected in the chest area, which may have been intentional. Obviously, the other one was a hell of a lot better. Oh, speaking of Lance Henriksen,
wish
apparently
I was
he was an
watching
early
Aliens
choice
now.
to play Frank Cotton. Not sure if he would have worked in that role, but it would have been interesting to see. Either way, I'm really not a fan of the whole semi-meta alternate universe thing that this movie does. Like, if it doesn't fit in the same universe with the other movies, and you have Hellraiser being some kind of media, why not just have it be a movie franchise instead of a video game with a different name and just go full-on meta with it? Maybe along the lines of Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I mean, that kind of thing is hard to pull off and it might have still been dumb, but at least we could understand the context. I guess it's a lot easier to sell the addiction angle if it's a video game, but it's just weird and confusing trying to figure out how or if it's in canon with the other movies. Normally I'd have a segment where I'd go into detail about the Cenobites and Pinhead, but there are only 2 in this movie, Bound 2 and Chatterer 3, and both of them are from previous movies. And this shot right here, you can so easily see that both of them have the same costume as Pinhead without anything painted. With Pinhead, there are holes in his outfit where there are strips of flesh.
Let's just
hanging
call
down,
Hellworld an
hooks
experience.
attached. And none of that detailing is here. There's just black leather outfits that have black leather strips hanging off of them for no reason. And with Pinhead being in this shot, you can see what they did. They don't even try to hide how lazy they were about it. I did make a little mistake when I covered Deader. I didn't talk about Bound 2 because I was thinking he was in a previous movie, but I must have been thinking of Bound. But really, Bound 2 is just a male version and is really just Bound's head on unpainted Pinhead's body. Nothing much to say there. Once again, Spike was considered for this movie but ended up on the cutting room floor, along with a reappearance of the conjoined twins. They even ended up on the
I was
back of
calling
the
them
DVD.
conjoined twins by this
And
point.
2 female Cenobites named Raven and Ring, neither of which ever got any kind of character design or background. Budget cuts are hell on these movies. No pun intended.
This is just the beginning.
And like I said about Pinhead, they ruined him. His first few lines are variations of Adam was right, and And then he has some Pinhead-esque dialogue for a while, but it rings hollow because it's so similar to stuff he said in previous movies.
What wonders we have to show you. We have such sights to show you. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell.
And it feels like it was just thrown in to make fans happy. Also, so far, this is the last time that Doug Bradley has played Pinhead, and considering that it's been 13 years, I doubt he ever will again at this point. The last line that Doug Bradley will probably ever say as Pinhead is a fucking one-liner.
How's that for a wake-up call?
If nothing else, I will never forgive this movie for that. I realized that at the time they couldn't have known that this would be Doug Bradley's final Hellraiser film, but they should have taken some care just in case, because you never know. Remember how way back in Hellraiser 2, they thought they were going to kill off Pinhead for good? So they gave him all these amazing scenes and dialogue.
It is not hands that call us. It is desire.
And some extra depth to give him a good send-off. Doug Bradley, who basically made Pinhead what he is in the first place, doesn't get that. The legacy of Doug Bradley as Pinhead just kind of ends with a whimper.
How's that for a wake-up call?
And that just pisses me right off. And it says a lot about Hellworld when Doug Bradley and Lance Henriksen together still couldn't save it. Fuck this movie. So yeah, Deader was the last Hellraiser movie that I liked to some degree. Well, so far. I actually still haven't seen Judgment yet, but
Still
I'm not
haven't.
holding out much hope.
Putting it off as long
Next
as
up,
possible.
whenever I get around to it, probably early next year, will be the infamous Hellraiser Revelations. That's it for now. See you next time.
Just save time here. I finally found a Hellraiser sequel that I dislike more than hell on earth. Had to happen eventually. This was a rough video to make. At least with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I had some fun with it. I wasn't kidding when I said this movie pisses me off. Next Film Den is definitely going to be about something I like. And I think the next one was about Child's Play, so definitely... Picked one of my favorites for the following one. Oh, I had some fun with the stinger.
How's that for a wake-up call?
There's a dated meme for you. Okay, I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to go run and do that really quick, and then I will get caught up on the chat, and then we will watch Hellraiser Revelations. I guess we have time. I'll probably go until at least 5:30, maybe 6. No, probably not 6. Actually, let me see how long this is. Part 1 is 18 minutes, Part 2 is 24 minutes. Yeah, that's the better part of an hour, so oh fuck, I might go until 6. Damn it! Anyway, be right back. Okay, let me try to get caught up on the chat. Ugh. I was wondering if this was the movie with the screeching girl, and the minute she screamed, I was like, aha, this was the movie. They encountered the despair squid, didn't they? Well, that at least explains why he killed himself. So that's why the BJ was so lame. This guy was narrating. Man, I hope I have as much energy as this guy when I'm old. I know, right? I'm gonna get how's that for a wake-up call tattooed on my forehead. Oh, God. Yeah, Lance Henriksen and Doug Bradley are the only... Well, I don't know that they're the only good actors. They were the only ones who were good in the movie, I guess. Oh, hi, John. I think you made it back right when I was about to start my rant. Oh, hi, George. I didn't see you posting before. Hi, Mal. I don't remember if I commented on you earlier. Well, there's more than one Cenobite wiki, for one thing. Well, there's a Cenobite wiki and a Hellraiser wiki, I think. Me and some friends watched these movies and it was quite the experience. See these Cenobites in actions, you got your hopes up too much. People complain about the one-liners in Marvel movies. I'm up to the paladin. What's a paladin bit? Good actors in this movie almost completely wasted by lazy writing. That sounds about right, based on what people have told me. I was about to say Final Fantasy 13 because of his... Actually, I don't know if I saw any of his Final Fantasy 13 videos. I was about to say I don't remember that, but I don't know that I even watched those. What's a pinhead? I think I covered that one earlier, but oh well. How many years have you been doing the reviews of these movies now anyway? Good question. Is there a quick way to check? Since 2014. Oh my God. 8 years? Holy shit. Well, I do one a year, so there's 10 of them, so that makes sense. I mean, give or take, of course. Damn, the stupid chat refreshed. No, I don't need any brain bleach. I got it out of my system. Adam was the luckiest one. He didn't have to suffer through this crap. That's true. Lance was one of the choices to play the T-800 in the Terminator. That's interesting. Let's just call Hellworld an experience. Yeah. I think I said that earlier. Doug Bradley's a horror icon. He is. Yeah, Pinhead is great. Goes downhill from here on in. Oh, yeah. Oh, my Mortal Kombat dens are some of your favorites. That's cool. Yeah, I had fun with those. I'll give Judgment this. Pinhead was closer to Doug Bradley than the cosplay Pinhead of Revelations. Yeah, I've heard that. Are there any game or film dens in the making? Not quite, but I do hope to get Halloween Kills done in time for when Halloween Ends comes out in October. Thoroughly enjoyed Judgment, probably because it was written to be a Hellraiser film, not a spec script that the studio shoehorned Pinhead into. Well, so was Revelations, so... I like that the stream looks like it's actually on the couch over there. Oh. Any minute, Tara's going to push the video screen off that sofa. And that's why it's not really there. Introducing characters like the Auditor and other administrations of Hell also made it interesting. Yeah, I've heard that. Doesn't sound very Hellraiser-like to me, but... Skimming over some of the comments, so let's save a little bit of time, at least. Yeah, Henry Cavill was in the one I just watched. Now I got this image of Pinhead going, "I reject your reality and substitute my own," while Spoonie looks on with annoyed confusion. Always remember, folks, if anyone asks you to get a puzzle box for Christmas, just get them a Rubik's Cube and prepare to spend the rest of your life apologizing. It's still better than the alternative. The only ones better at torturing you than Pinhead, studio executives. So I guess in this movie, Pinhead was a background character in his own film franchise. I mean, that's how he started off, and I think that's how he works best, so I'm fine with that. Was thinking it was close to a decade. Yeah, you were close. Well, yeah, you were right. It was close to a decade. I think this movie is simultaneously trying to be a parody and a proper Hellraiser movie and failing miserably. Yeah, people have mentioned already that Nichelle Nichols died. That's a bummer. Yes, I know Pinhead isn't Dead by Daylight. Sometimes the pleasure is not worth the pain, especially when you're watching Hellworld. So true. Okay. Well, here we are. I guess I can't complain. I really brought it on myself. It's time to talk about the 9th Hellraiser movie, Revelations. Yeah, it's that one. But first I want to talk about what happened in between this movie and the previous one. If you look at the dates when the last few movies came out, you'll notice a bit of a gap between Hellworld and Revelations. During that time, there was a lot of talk about a remake. At some point, Clive Barker was actually attached. Then later, neither he nor Doug Bradley were to be involved. You may have seen an image of a redesigned Pinhead floating around the internet around that time. That was done by Gary J. Tunnicliffe, I hope I'm saying that right, who has been doing the special effects on Hellraiser movies since Hell on Earth.
By the time Bloodline happened, he was doing Pinhead's makeup and had become friends with Doug Bradley. Before that, he was a huge fan of the first two movies, so he's kind of an elevated fan. Good on him. But yeah, he had heard about a remake being talked about, where they were planning on redesigning Pinhead, so he decided to try his hand at it, just to kind of get it out there. There is a video about it, which I recommend watching. If nothing else, seeing the process is interesting, and it helps to understand why he did it. The general consensus is that it's too messy and chaotic. This is basically what Clive Barker thought, and I agree. Pinhead's original design is perfect. It has a very orderly feel to it.
I like how these titles are so cheap you can
character
recreate them
at his
perfectly,
best.
yeah.
And even Gary agrees with that. If people looked at his design and it made them realize they wanted the original after all, he would have been fine with that. On its own, it is kind of a neat design. The eyes are cool too, but yeah, it definitely doesn't suit Pinhead. I think the internet has kind of forgotten about that, but it was kind of a big deal for a while, so I wanted to talk about it. Later, he did end up using the design for a different Cenobite in Hellraiser Judgment.
And some asshole who's done nothing more than 3 videos of how to do coin tricks to say it sucks in their bedroom. You know, having done bugger all with their lives.
Don't hold back there, Gary. Tell us how you really feel. But obviously that remake never happened, and Dimension was about to lose their rights to the franchise, so they had to quickly shit out another sequel as fast as possible. So that's how Hellraiser Revelations came to be. It's kind of the Fant Four stick of this franchise, though maybe that Roger Corman one would be a better example if it had gotten released. As I mentioned in the previous video, no Doug Bradley. They did approach him about playing Pinhead, but he declined the role. He said, "The ink is barely dry on the script, and it is scheduled to be in front of the cameras in 2 weeks' time and in the can by the middle of next month. The minuscule shooting schedule is more than matched by the budget." But naturally, he wished everyone involved with the project well. So it sounded like he just thought this movie was going to be a logistical nightmare. Then later he added that he, quote, "made a conscious decision not to do the movie based on the motives for making it and the poor quality of the script." So I guess he also didn't like the script, though if that's an issue I have to wonder why he agreed to Hellworld.
This
I want to say I made this video last year.
Adam was right. You believe Adam
See, it was either 2020 or 2021.
And finally, Clive Barker's reaction on Twitter went viral. "Hello, my friends. I want to put on record that the flick out there using the word Hellraiser is no fucking child of
So
mine.
angry.
I have nothing to do with the fucking thing. If they claim it's from the mind of Clive Barker, it's a lie. It's not even from my butthole." Don't hold back there, Clive. Tell us how you really feel. In all seriousness, that is pretty funny. But I think it's only fair to point out that he admitted later that he hadn't seen the trailer or read the script or anything. He was just reacting to other people's reactions to it, because that's what people do on the internet, I guess. So here we are. Let's find out if any Hellraiser movie is worse than Hellworld.
Jesus wept.
bad horror movie.
I have to admit that's hard to imagine. We're getting off to a great start with this title font. I mean, at least it doesn't remind me of Comic Sans like Deaders did, but something about the italics there just makes it extra cheesy somehow.
Did you bring the beers?
Yes.
Oh god, these
And
guys.
then, found footage. Didn't I say something about that when I talked about Halloween Resurrection? Yeah, when your horror sequel is ripping off the gimmicks of better horror movies, it's time to end it.
The plan is to get your dick wet.
I hate this. Please stop. I don't need constant close-ups of these guys' mouths. Okay, so these guys are Steven and Nico, who are on their way to Mexico to engage in some partying and all that entails.
Yes! Donkey show! In Tijuana! What? Tijuana!
Seriously, I cannot overstate how much I hate this camera work. Found footage does not have to look like that. Thank God I didn't have to watch this in the theater. It would have been so much more unbearable on a big screen. Sometime later.
The fucking car, man!
I hate to keep harping on the camera work, but if he hadn't said that, I don't know that I would have been able to piece together that the car was stolen. I guess Nico is the Frank XP. I have to say the blue light coming out of the Lament configuration was kind of a neat touch. Also, it's playing music. It hasn't done that in a while.
What the fuck is going on?
Come to think of it, I never thought about whether or not Cenobites would show up on film. And I guess the answer is yes. People have made fun of Pinhead's dialogue in this movie.
The box.
It's yours. Just get the fuck out of here.
No.
Okay, the no was kind of silly, but
Opened it, summoned us, and we came.
so far the rest is not too different from how he talked in the first one.
The box. You opened it. We came. We are the light in the darkness, and paths to
entire sensation. Guardians.
Because what Hellraiser needed is frat boy hijinks.
Explorers
Hi,
in
Nancy.
the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
By the way, first time I saw this, I wondered if they were going to always shoot Pinhead like this to get around Doug Bradley's absence. If only. At least the found footage bit ends about
would've been
4
kinda
minutes in
funny.
as we cut to Steven's mom, Sarah, watching the video. So yeah, fortunately the whole thing isn't filmed this way. Wow, there's a lot of blue in this movie. Nice day for night shot.
Excellent, excellent meal. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So the elephant in the room is these are the families of the missing boys, and they get together for dinner fairly often, but they never talk about them, as Steven's sister and Nico's girlfriend Emma points out.
Why don't we ever talk about them?
Emma, please.
Please what, Dad? What, please forget that I had a brother? Please forget that my boyfriend
I can
disappeared
believe
with
Phalis
him?
did that.
Apparently they hired a private investigator, but didn't tell Emma anything about what was found, and she hasn't seen the tape.
Shut up!
Okay, here's Discount Pinhead. Just soak it all in. Obviously, there's going to be a lot to unpack, so I'll just save it for the end. But for now, just wow. What the hell? Either way, he's listening in on their conversation. Because
Day for
this is a thing
nightmare.
Pinhead does now, apparently.
Save the shrink talk for your clients, Dad. Fucking assholes.
By the way, I love how this girl
Fucking
dresses.
assholes.
Just wear a top that shows off all of your chest and mimics a leather harness and corset to have dinner with your parents and their friends. Totally appropriate. So she goes into Steven's room and finally looks at the tape. Oh crap, the found footage is back. It's pretty boring. They just say Tijuana a lot
We're in Tijuana. 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 To Tijuana. Tijuana.
and point a camera at a woman and stumble with their Spanish.
Nico. Nico.
Anyway, Nico ends up doing her even though Steven apparently had dibs on her, and of course Nico's girlfriend is watching this. And apparently Emma can see them fucking even though Steven is clearly not filming that.
Oh my god.
Back to what happened in Mexico, Steven ends up passed out on the floor until Nico wakes him up, anxious to leave. And apparently he killed her.
What the fuck did you do?
I didn't do anything. It was a total accident, okay?
Now they're worried about
accident.
going to jail, and
You filmed us fucking. How do you think that's gonna look in a jury? They even have juries in Mexico. Fuck!
Steven is about to erase all the footage of the woman, but Nico takes the camera to make sure they stay on
He's
the same
racist
side.
on top of everything else.
I would never do anything like that, Nico. Come on.
Boy, I sure care about these characters. They're such great people. Back to present
What
time,
about an
Emma looks
iguana?
around some more, and of course she finds the puzzle box, which alerts Pinhead. Back to the parents.
Second
Steven's
time I
dad
used
thinks
that
that maybe they
gag.
should talk about what happened. Nico's mom really doesn't want to.
Can we just remember them the way they were, not the way they were killed?
They think that the boys were probably murdered, but apparently the tape doesn't make it
Everyone's saying
obvious, and
iguana.
Steven's dad can't think of why they would just run away.
Did Nico give any indication that he was gonna leave? He just started dating Emma. Shit, he was happy. And then he just sort of...
Went cold?
Did Emma say something to him? Or did she break up with him? I mean, well, Emma, I didn't mean to suggest that.
I mean, you wanted to talk about it. All you had to say was that you don't know what happened either.
Was just a question.
Anyway, Emma starts playing with the box, and I guess she has a vision of Nico with hooks in his face.
Guys, it's Steven!
Well, that's some interesting timing. He's covered in blood, but apparently not his own since he doesn't appear injured. Emma goes to call 911, but the line is dead. It's 2011. Why doesn't anyone have a cell phone?
No signal, that's why we keep a landline.
Oh, there's no cell phone service in their area. At least there's an explanation for it, even though that's kind of odd.
It's all right, Steven. Save your energy.
Rather be watching Mayor do well in this crap.
Steven is afraid of someone finding him, obviously the Cenobites. Meanwhile, Nico's dad goes to bring the car around so they can take Steven to the hospital, but their cars are missing.
Emma, go get me some blankets.
So they just have to get Steven stabilized and keep him as comfortable as they can.
What the hell is happening here, man?
I don't know. But whoever Steven's afraid of is not taking out the phone and the cars.
So the Cenobites stole their cars. GTA Hell? I'd play that.
Let him rest.
Oh.
Oh, the Cenobites stole their cars. GTA Hell?
Oh, bollocks, here we go again, is what Pinhead is saying. Originally, it was just going to be, oh, hell, here we go again, but he's British, so I changed it to bollocks. Play that.
Let him rest. We can ask him questions in the morning. Fuck that, man.
Poor Nico's dad really wants some answers. You can't really blame him.
If that was Nico and Steven was still missing, I'd be upset too. So we just have to stay calm and take care of Steven.
Steven's dad plans to walk to the highway in the morning.
You have a gun? Yeah.
What? Well, that was news to Mom. Hey, there's the torture pillar. We haven't seen that in a while. So it seems that Pinhead has a protege of sorts. And we cut back to the damn family just when it was starting to get interesting. There's a reason why I always mention the point where Pinhead shows up. Good Hellraiser movies have the sense to save him for later. I guess the creators of this movie knew that
God, yeah, I forgot. I need to, like, read this stuff out loud because you guys can't.
Family just when it was starting to get interesting. There's a reason why I
A little over an hour into Hellraiser.
always mention the point where
A little under an hour into Hellbound.
Pinhead shows up. Good
A little under an hour into Hell on Earth, not including that pillar nonsense.
Hellraiser movies have the sense to save him
A little over 1/3 of the way into Hellseeker.
for later. I guess the creators of this movie knew that it couldn't stand on its own, or maybe the studio demanded that he show up sooner. So it took what should have been one
I can
or two
confirm you were
scenes
correct
with
in the use of
Cenobites
bollocks.
and diced them up so they could pepper
Awesome.
it throughout the first half. Anyway, Steven's dad has gotten his gun, and Nico's dad made sure all the doors were locked, and after some conversation, we're back to the Cenobites again. It looks like whenever Pinhead in training gets a new piece of skin,
Birth is pain.
Pinhead nails it to his skull, which is interesting.
Each new square of flesh ranges you further from the flash into existence you knew before.
And oh god, Pinhead's costume. Again, it's a lot to unpack, and I'll save the details about that for later. Either way, looks like he had fun with that. Back to the families, Emma just whips out the puzzle box right in front of them.
Is that the thing Nico was playing with?
I didn't think Inferno was bad.
Yeah, it is.
It opens. I could just figure it out.
Okay, in pretty much all the other movies we've seen, that is not how you move it to get the Cenobites to show up. Hell just kind of melds with the real world.
I just referred to him as Pinhead's protege. Because that seems to be
At
what
least
he
we
is.
get an early glimpse at female Chatterer. And then it just stops.
Where's Steven? Oh, where is he?
Okay, there was a point to that after all. Oh, I take it back. He just went outside.
Steven.
They're coming. That vagrant called the Cenobites.
So he tells them about how they got the puzzle box from a vagrant, and then we flash back to when they got the puzzle box from a vagrant. I was about to complain about them telling instead of showing, but doing both is even worse.
As a form of ultimate arousal.
What, like sex?
It's better than sex.
God, don't remind me of Hellraiser 3.
Relax, baby. This is better than sex.
We've reached the sequels that are worse than Hellraiser 3, so it just makes me wish I was watching that.
This will take you beyond the limits. Sensual pain.
Pain? What, like bondage and shit?
I mean, kind of?
How can we
I mean, kind of?
ultimate pleasure without experiencing ultimate pain?
I could do that just fine. He has an interesting way of explaining the puzzle box, though.
If you think that people have you known of
I'll take this movie or Hellworld. Same.
every day, them is the best day ever.
Bad as it is, I still hate
Every
Hellworld more.
sensation, a symphony. That's what this does.
This makes me wonder. We sometimes see people selling the puzzle box to someone. How do they know what it does? How many of these people experienced it and came back like Frank did, only managed to stay here? And how many of those people would still consider it a positive experience that they would recommend to others? The only case that really makes sense is in Hellseeker, where the seller is Pinhead in disguise. By the way, I missed it when I covered that movie, but that's Doug Bradley. I didn't recognize him in that wig, and it's uncredited. So it's definitely Pinhead. Yeah, I know there's probably a lot of lore about the lament configuration that these people have heard, and they're going on hearsay. Just a thought I had.
That's what they offer.
Who?
The Cenobites.
What?
Angels. Conductors. Surgeons.
I prefer Hellworld, but I'll skip both. Yeah,
I forgot
that's
to
fair.
mention the demons part. I guess that's what "and more" refers to.
The box.
Steven starts to get curious.
How does it work?
Nico asks how much he's selling it for.
It's yours already, Nico. It always was.
Now we're back to what happened with Nico. He seems obsessed with it.
That almost fuck really creeped me out.
It's just a puzzle. Prize is probably 2 free passes to the donkey show.
He sure is interested in that donkey show, isn't he?
Interspecies erotica, bucko.
But now Steven is about ready to go home, so
Excuse
Nico
me?
gives him crap about it.
How can you mention a donkey show without
You always
referencing
were.
Clerks 2?
Your parents cut your balls off at every single turn.
Interspecies erotica,
Anyway, he eventually
fucko.
gets Steven to film. We see the same scene again, but now we're not just seeing the found footage. Oh, there's the hooks. Poor Nico's mom really wants to know what happened to him, but Steven gives a vague answer.
He didn't want to come back. He wanted to stay.
Apparently Steven was with a hooker afterwards. I love that he's apparently just telling his parents all about this.
Kill her, Steven.
Then he heard a voice. Hey George, thanks for stopping by.
It's the only way to kill her!
And so he killed her. Yeah, really both of these guys are the Frank XB in the hedonism department, but it's literal with Nico because we're repeating Frank's story here, though his coming out of the mattress is reminiscent of Julia. I guess this is where Nico died.
Her blood brought me back! Bring me more!
They really kind of gloss over his return and first victim, don't they? The original Hellraiser had a scene where Frank regenerated, then another scene where he revealed himself to Julia and asked for her help, then yet another scene where she brought a guy home, and that's when you finally see what he does to the victims. Here Steven has already brought someone home to Nico by accident, but still. And then he's like, hey, I'm back, I need more of this now. Like, it happens so quickly and there's no mystery at all about what's happening. No drawing it out to make you really think about all of this. It's just kind of thrown at you almost like an afterthought.
They're coming. The Cenobites. They don't like to lose souls.
I guess he probably didn't tell them about that after all, and that was just a flashback because he was thinking about it. But the way that played out was kind of confusing.
They want to experience your flesh.
Okay. So they put Steven to bed as Emma looks up Cenobites in the dictionary, it looks like. I guess they don't have internet access either.
A member of a religious group living together in a monastic community.
What? But yeah, Cenobite is a real word, you just don't hear it outside of the Hellraiser franchise that much. It's kind of neat that they acknowledge that here. Meanwhile, Steven has a flashback of female chatterer cutting the skin off his face while chattering in his ear. It's pretty graphic, actually. I guess I have to give this movie credit for bringing gore back to the franchise. We've hardly seen any skinless people since Hellraiser 3. Okay, that was stupid. Frank said that line in the first movie.
Pain and pleasure, indivisible.
But he was explaining to Julia what happened when he opened the box. He didn't just randomly say it like, this is what I'm feeling right now while being tortured.
It's all right, Steven.
He doesn't even remember
can't
going
with these two
outside.
guys.
His dad asks him what the box is for.
Why do you want it so badly?
I don't know. Promise you'll help me.
We're gonna get through this. Whatever you need, we're gonna take care of.
I'm sure he'll be fine. So we're just about at the halfway point, so I'm going to stop here. If you haven't seen this movie yet and want to, be sure to do that before watching part 2. For what it's worth, I'm not yet convinced that it's worse than Hellworld, but we'll see.
With liberty and justice for all. It took me a second to get that. Okay. Yeah, I say in this video that I didn't think the acting was bad, but I think the parents are okay, but the kids aren't great. Now that I'm watching it again. Who finds having the skin ripped off their face pleasurable? I think it's just something you kind of learn to like when you're in hell. Let me get caught up on the chat really quick here. Never a good sign when a long-running franchise drops the Roman numerals. Hellraiser sequels is proof that love leads to pain. Well, if you love Hellraiser. What is the Hellraiser equivalent of box head, thumbtack head? Well, I'm not exactly going to put thumbtacks in Lee's head, so that wouldn't work out too well. You have bucket head. Yep, we are indeed at the worst Hellraiser movies. I would imagine a headbutt would hurt Pinhead more than whoever he was attacking. I don't think Pinhead could be redesigned. There's something so simple yet iconic about the OG. Yeah, I agree. He's just about perfect the way he is. Dina, let's do film dens on Hellraiser. I'll definitely not be done with the world by the time I get to Hellworld and Revelations. Oh, you know, I could just look at the... Yeah, I made this in 2021, so last year. Pinhead is sort of dignified and majestic in an effed up kind of way. Oh, definitely. Ow, my freaking neck hurts again. I keep forgetting the non-Bradley Pinhead looks so bad. Yup. Jesus wept after watching Hellraiser Revelations. Imagine agreeing to Hellworld and not Revelations. Brad, I like you, but Jesus. Someone suggested in the comments section that maybe his experience with Hellworld was so bad he didn't want to do any more after that, which would kind of make sense. It sucks we will never get another Friday the 13th movie. I mean, do we need one? There's been like 50. Sean Cunningham. I feel like I should know that name. Yeah, if I hate everyone and want them to die, it's not horror, it's a cartoon. I have not seen Hate Crime. I don't want Hellraiser to be rebooted. I want Hellraiser to just be put to bed already. Doug Bradley's delivery makes those lines work so much better. That's fair, but people were specifically complaining about the dialogue, Pinhead's dialogue, and I don't think his dialogue is bad. You could criticize his delivery, though, I guess. Pinhead sounds like a little kid trying to sound like Pinhead. Gotta love it when the camera's moving so much you can't see anything that's happening, yeah. You can hang a couple of nice paintings on Pinhead's headbands. If she weren't a protagonist, I'd say she were to become a Cenobite with that outfit. Not exactly, but I think they are in a not-so-subtle way trying to imply that she's sexually charged. Again, picked kind of a weird way to do that, though. This reminds me, I was watching Heaven Knows What, same directors as Adam Sandler's movie Uncut Gems, and it had a scene of two characters watching this movie. Oh my god. That sounds funny. I'll bet iguanas do make interesting pets. Budget was a Big Mac and a Diet Coke. This movie's great, one of the worst. You have been found guilty of the crime of total accident and will be sentenced to... This Pinhead is almost cute. Yeah, I wish you guys would stop describing him as chubby. That's kind of... like, he's not fat, just his outfit fits him badly. I sometimes use clips from Mortal Kombat 2011 where Johnny sarcastically says, "Dun dun dun." That's great. Oh, shut up. Mom is busy. That 1994 Fantastic Four movie that was shelved was at least fun and had some neat special effects. This is just a slog. I'm not sure who Eric Roberts is. It sounds familiar. I feel like I should know. Cenobite valet parking service. Pinhead's protege, Pinboy. Yeah, Inferno was pretty good. I still think the best parody of Pinhead is one from Grim Adventures where it's all bowling pins. I haven't seen that, but that sounds funny. We're long past the black sheep of the family. We're at the outcasts now. Ah, the national bird of Mexico, the donkey. Okay, I'm almost caught up. I really messed up people. It's like a really intense version of one of those Biore nose strip things. On the bright side, being skinless is a fashionable look this season. Imagine Lee walking in just in time to hear you say, "I'm not going to put thumbtacks in Lee's head." I imagine him backing out of the room again slowly. There was a circle here. It's gone now. Oh, I forgot to put this on live chat. I didn't see the bit about the circle. There it is. Now the Hellraiser series haunts DVD bargain bins at Walmart because it was never put to rest. Oh, there's the Hell Priest. We were just talking about you. I am not affiliated with this Pinboy of which you speak. Imagine trying to keep the rights to Hellraiser and then putting out Judgment of all things. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. I'm not gonna drink any more water. Okay. Doug Bradley was here. He's gone now. I'm here to turn up the volume. I mean, here to fall asleep to a live stream. How the hell are you? Let's keep this joke alive. At least you're not here to give us a wake-up call. Is hell really more ordered these days? Pinhead 2 Electric Pinaloo. I wish to explore the further regions of existence. In that case, I recommend sandpaper toilet roll. Alright, you guys. Go ahead and play part 2. Finish up this damn stream. Welcome back to Hellraiser Revelations, for better or for worse. Emma seems to have a better idea of how to open that box.
Like,
One of these cough drops.
But you have to want it as well.
Interesting take on how the box works. At least in this movie you can't just hold it out or throw it across the room like a Pokeball.
If you try to force it and nothing happens, you have to just let go.
She's kind of getting off on that though, while her parents are watching. This girl really has no shame. She's also kind of having a moment with Nico's dad. Ugh.
Emma.
Pingu the hellish penguin.
Yeah, even Mom picked up on that.
You don't need that.
Also this. So she brings soup to Steven. And there's a weird kind of energy between them. She asks him why he and Nico went away.
Lots of reasons.
Though he assures her that it was nothing she did.
There were things happening here that I couldn't tell you about. It all got to be too much.
And this includes Nico.
And he never stopped thinking about you. Neither did I.
She jokes that he didn't get her a gift while he was traveling, but he says that's what the puzzle box was.
I love that thing. It's so cool.
It's the best sex toy I've ever had. You don't even have to insert it anywhere or anything.
Is it a puzzle?
It's more like the answer.
I don't understand.
You will.
Ominous soup drinking.
Want to finish it?
That's what that said.
Yeah, something isn't right between these two.
Okay.
Oh.
You've grown up so much.
Yes, they are brother and sister.
Okay, that's another reference to the first movie.
You've grown. You're beautiful.
Don't touch me!
Oh.
God, this is uncomfortable. Fun fact, first time I saw this movie, I got really confused here. I thought I had Steven and Nico mixed up. I was like, oh, I thought that was the brother, but I guess he's the boyfriend. Nope. Incest is best, etc. Yeah, and the movie makes damn sure that this can't be mistaken as an innocent brother-sister little peck or whatever. This is a full-on makeout scene. And like it wasn't weird enough already. Ow, time to cut your nails, dude. Meanwhile, Nico's dad suggests that maybe Steven was the one who stole the cars and messed with the phone lines.
None of this adds up, and we're just sitting here waiting.
And he thinks they should go back outside and see if they can figure out what happened. Good old slasher film logic. Oh, apparently the vagrant followed Steven back all the way from Mexico.
Here, give me the gun. Hey! This is private property, jerk-off. That means that legally, I can blow the shit out of you right now and ask questions later.
I mean, it's not technically your property, Nico's dad.
He's here. The one who escaped.
I never bothered to learn the parents'
Where's my
names.
son?
I just say Nico's dad and...
They will have him again.
And,
Yeah?
Well, okay, he
Steven's
just
dad.
shot a guy.
Anyone else out there? Huh?
Though either his aim is really bad or he can't die that easily. I think it's worth pointing out that there was also a vagrant in the first movie, and it hinted that he had a bigger role to play than it seemed at first. Though this one doesn't do anything as cool as turn into a demon skeleton. Ow! Oh god. Say what you want about this movie, but the gory scenes ain't nothing to fuck with.
This film takes place in Alabama.
What happened to him?
Okay, what? I'm not sure if his injury is consistent with the cuts he got, but to be fair, we didn't see all of it. I gotta say, I genuinely feel bad for his wife, though. I can't even imagine what she must be going through here, and kudos to the actress for not holding back. So here's where things get interesting. Steven just saunters in with a shotgun.
Be careful, Steven is loaded.
Oh.
Well, okay, he's not messing around.
Why are you doing this?
Because I hate this shithole. We simply had to get the fuck out of this bullshit Generica. Fuck yeah! Anything besides the reality.
All that just to say
Fuck
life is
yeah.
boring. And now we see why he didn't eat all of his soup earlier. He was saving room for all of the scenery.
You'll understand when you have your own
Dracolic? I've never heard of that.
Depressed. I'm unfulfilled too. I'll bring in another life into this world and see if that entertains me. Good plan.
Also, get this.
This isn't you talking.
That's the first sensible thing I've heard you say.
Oh, that is what it looks like.
So, flashback to
Had to look it
Mexico
up.
again. Steven found another prostitute for Nico. But it turned out she had a kid.
Do it!
So, naturally, Steven got cold feet.
Kill her!
She has a baby, Nico! You wanna kill her? Do it yourself!
Actually, why can't Nico kill her? The whole reason Julia had to kill for Frank was because he didn't have all his muscle tissue and couldn't really move around yet. Once he was only missing his skin, he was able to move around normally and do his own killing.
The adults are good
Nico
as the
looks
kids
like
who
he's
are
at
acting
that
bad.
point
Yeah,
now.
I realize that now.
And I guess he realizes it too.
So I was half right.
Steven gets the hell out of there as the
I
baby
said the acting
continues to
was
scream.
okay.
For a while. But yeah, that was the limit for Steven, and he's ready to call it quits.
We've come so far. One more time. Bring me a man so I can take his skin.
I have to point out that for a guy with no skin, Nico looks pretty beefy. That's why with the first movie they used a very thin guy to play skinless Frank. Again, if you want to see what he really looks like, he's also in Hellbound. For this movie, I'm guessing they just put makeup on the guy who played Nico.
His
They try
labia
to
in
hide it with
hell.
his clothes, but it just doesn't look quite
All right,
right.
Hell Priest, thanks
Look
for
how far
stopping
those
by.
cheekbones stick out.
You won't do it for your best friend?
I've given you the shirt off my back.
No! It's not the shirt off your
Yeah,
back.
that bit with the baby was kind of
Can
rough.
you guess where this is going?
Don't you recognize your dear, precious boy?
Oh, Steven's alive. In a way. But those, boyish good looks that I now possess.
So, the whole time, this has actually been Nico wearing Steven's skin. Again, Hellraiser reference. Nico did a much better job than Frank, though. It's revealed later that he left Steven in the hotel room without any skin. The last we see of him, he's picking up the puzzle box.
I don't know why you're spilling tears for Father Dearest there when your true love lies bleeding to death.
Also, apparently Nico's mom and Steven's dad had a thing going, but I'm not sure why it was necessary to add that like 15 minutes before the end of the movie. Motivation for Steven and Nico wanting to get away. I guess it works. Just seems weird that it just comes out of nowhere. Maybe this early scene is kinda trying to hint at it, but So it was actually Nico making out with Emma earlier, but she didn't know that. Anyway, he demands she give him the puzzle
Asylum
box.
knockoff for straight people.
I'll give you 30 seconds to go get it, or I'll shoot your mommy in the face.
Mr. Craven.
Oh god, I keep forgetting about it because it's hard to catch if you're not reading the Wikipedia article. But Steven's family name is Craven and Nico's is Bradley. Get it? That totally makes up for Doug Bradley not being in this.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Not you, you little shit.
Anyway, he's actually apologizing to his wife.
Not sorry that I fucked your little daughter.
Wow, Nico is a real prize, isn't he? What a shame all that bad stuff happened to him. Yeah, I'm sure lament configuration addiction and hell had a lot to do with it, but keep in mind that he killed a woman before they even got the puzzle box. And the more we learn about him, the more I think it wasn't an accident. This is not a character anyone should care about.
Hand the fucking thing over!
Emma comes back with the box, but demands to
His
know what
hamming
he's
it up
going
is
to do
kind
with
of
it.
fun.
An eternity of torture isn't exactly what I have in mind. I like to taste. I love to fuck.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I need the box to call them. I'm thinking I can swing a trade.
Basically, he's going to give her to the Cenobites so they'll let him go. Kind of like what Kirsty did with Frank.
They're going to love you.
What's so fucking innocent, Emma?
Well, that was stupid. I get aiming for the side at first, but instead of screaming, she could have gone for the chest afterwards. I mean, she's facing hell here. You'd think she'd fight a little harder.
Now open the fucking box!
So, the box. She opens it. They come. I was gonna complain that the box is supposed to summon the Cenobites, not take you to their dimension, but I guess it kinda did in Hellraiser 2. That was kind of an unusual circumstance, though. Plus, it just opened a gateway there that people could walk into. It didn't just teleport them there and lock them in. This franchise has gotten so confusing over time, I don't know what's canon anymore.
You have a darkness that rivals my own, Nico. It will be a very special pleasure to rip you apart.
And, just like in the first movie, the Cenobites renege on the deal.
Hang on. She opened the box, girl! Steven, is that you?
The final twist is that Pinhead in training was Steven all this time.
Tender for most evil character.
Human names, human memories, they have no place nor meaning in our existence.
God, I hate to make fun of an actor's appearance, but his eyes are bigger than his mouth. Who looked at this guy and went, that guy, that's our Pinhead? At least we get a good look at female Chatterer here. She doesn't make up for Pinhead, but she is pretty cool. And she wants to hit that.
Unless you want to taste her blood, feel her freshly razored flesh against your own roots, sit in silence.
He made her open the box!
Bitch,
Ouch,
what did I
poor
just tell
Nico's
you?
mom. She died pretty quickly, all things considered, though. I guess Nico's dad probably did too. I assumed he was unconscious all this time, but apparently he died in his last scene. Yoink.
I called you to trade her for me.
Trade? No.
No. Yeah, I still think Pinhead's dialogue is okay, except for those no's.
Shit.
Haha, hook that bastard. Fuck him. Sorry, fuck him.
This trinket of sensation you feel now will be a delight compared to the onslaught of agony that awaits at our hands.
Damn it, that could have been a suffer, but we got an agony instead, and I can't count those. Pinhead's like, the rest of them are lame. But he believes that Emma will eventually come to them on her own.
Bring him.
Wow, go Dad. He had just enough fight left in him.
No one gets to kill you but me, you little fuck.
But really, he ended up saving Nico.
Thank you.
Because when you're in hell, you can just die, I guess. When Dante went on a tour of hell, he should have brought a weapon with him and put an end to all that shit. I would totally watch that adaptation of Inferno. And no, that game doesn't count. Yeah, and maybe pissing off Pinhead wasn't a great idea either.
And the eternity of suffering you would have experienced at our hands would have been more vengeance for you than you can possibly imagine.
There we go. The suffer count hadn't gone up in a while.
Now there is a deficit of flesh.
That line tickles me.
There is a deficit of flesh. We must withdraw some more flesh from the flesh bank. This is costing us an arm and a leg.
Sorry.
Debt is outstanding, and we seek payment.
Oh wow, he went all the way with that metaphor. I thought I was joking.
No, please take me.
No.
No. I mean, you'd think that they could keep this guy alive and have him suffer indefinitely from his wound, but you can just die in hell. See, if that's the case, the Cenobites make no sense, especially since people can die in this movie within minutes of just losing a patch of skin. How is Nico or even Pinhead still walking around?
A few moments you have remaining will be spent in the agony that the indulgence of your own foolish vanity has cursed your wife.
Yeah, Pinhead is talking too much now. We're reaching Hellraiser 3 levels of ramble.
There is a secret song at the center of the world.
You like the way I cracked up at the end of that line, thank you. At least Doug Bradley got all theatrical with it and made it fun. I thought that was a nice touch. Oh, not the hooks again.
Even that which is born of flesh is still just flesh.
Poor mom, what a fate. To be tortured for eternity by her own son. That said, I'm gonna count it since he's a protege of Pinhead.
Even that which is born of flesh is still just flesh, and no flesh shall be spared.
And Steven gets in a 3-hit flesh combo.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry that you had to be in this movie, dude. You're actually a pretty good actor.
When this existence ceases to fulfill, we will be waiting.
And just like that, Emma and Dad are sent back home.
I love you so.
And poor Dad dies and is finally out of this movie. So what is Emma gonna do with that lament configuration? The end.
Let me get caught up on the chat really quick. Where the fuck did I leave off at? Oh no, did I lose my place? I forget, did Hell Priest show up before or after I started this? I think just before I started it. Yeah, because I went on a bathroom break shortly after he showed up. Oh, there we go. I think this is where I left off. In part, people want another Friday the 13th because it would be the 13th film in the franchise. Oh, that's fair. I forgot they didn't make it up. Oh, excuse me. I forgot they didn't make it. They didn't quite make it up to 13. I think I thought they had. I'm up to the incest bit. Only Hellraiser happy accidents. Oh yeah, there was finger licking, wasn't there? I think I didn't really think to... I didn't notice or something. Incest, a game the whole family can play. Not as weird as that movie where Chyler Lee and her actual brother had to play a couple and make out. Ah, what? A family that bangs together hangs together. God damn it, Special Iron. Was this movie really straight to Pornhub? Stephen House looks nice, so what the fuck? I know! I think he's just like... The idea is that he was just bored. Damn it, now I'm rewatching the bad Hellraisers before bed. Opens a box and the pizza delivery service shows up. Oh, sorry, wrong number. You won't be my grandmother to the most evil character? Oh my. Why am I just Pinhead in training? Why am I just imagining Pinhead training him to use the deep fryers at McDonald's now? These poor families, they're paying because of their sons. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Agony, this gets better and better. Looks like they were trying to make that woman's throat into deep throats. Oh yeah, a little bit. That sigh carries a lot of weight. I think you can hear the existential dread in that one sigh. I actually feel sorry for these characters not named Steven and Nico, so this movie gets more points than Hellworld. I'm glad I'm not the only one there. I thought the parents did a good job, and I actually, you know, kind of care about them. I bet Tara and Soul jerked their heads to look at you when you sneezed. Oh. Well, if they did, they got over it. Soul's asleep. How many times is agony said in the entire series? Enough to get an agony counter? I don't think so. I don't recall Pinhead saying that too many times. Rich people's problems, yeah. Tax evasion and Pinhead. This female chatterer, Pinhead's accountant. Maybe it's a prequel and she is Deep Throat, gasp. Alright, let's watch the rest of this. We got 10 minutes to go.
There's a lot to unpack here. Putting Pinhead aside for a minute, I'm not going to argue that this movie is good, but it's not as bad as people say, in my opinion. The story is generally okay. I do have issues with the idea that people can die in hell. Someone clearly didn't think that through. And there are some plot holes. This definitely could have done with at least one rewrite. But other than that, you can tell that this was originally meant to be a reboot because it's basically a very soft remake of the original Hellraiser movie, and it hits a lot of the same notes. Even though this movie obviously doesn't pack the same punch, I think it's interesting to spot those references. If nothing else, at least this movie was always meant to be a Hellraiser movie, unlike all of the previous straight-to-DVD sequels. Quick reminder in case this is your first video of mine or you forgot. All of the straight-to-video sequels started out as some early movie script that had been pitched to Miramax that they kept on file, and later they took those scripts, threw in Hellraiser elements, and made them into Hellraiser sequels, with varying degrees of success. Hellseeker pulled it off the best in my opinion. Deader and Hellworld felt the most awkward, especially with how Hellworld kept calling attention to it by trying to mention as many Hellraiser things as possible when none of that stuff even fit with that story. Inferno was somewhere in the middle. But Revelations, for all its faults, was always going to be a Hellraiser movie, and it shows. It's about someone finding the box and all that entails. It's not some random story where stuff is going on and then, oh, then they found the box, and oh, there's Pinhead. Okay, back to the story. Again, other than Pinhead, the main thing dragging this movie down is that Steven and Nico are so obnoxious. I'd be less bothered if they didn't start off as protagonists who we're supposed to care about. Their parents are kind of bland for the most part, but I do end up caring about both dads, so those actors did a good job, and Nico's mom as well. In fact, they didn't just pull anyone off the street for this movie. Pretty much all of these actors have a pretty long IMDb list, so they had some acting experience under their belts. That said, Steven and Emma's mom doesn't really get a lot of screen time or development, so as much as I feel bad for her in the end on principle, we really don't get too attached to her. The ending could have had a lot more impact if we did. I do kind of like the twist that Steven was really Nico all along and that Pinhead's protege was Steven all along. That said, I do get a kick out of Nico's scenery chewing, but it does start to wear thin after a while. And frankly, his attempts at drama before that point aren't that good. I guess that's about all I have to say about the movie in general. I'm kind of anxious to talk about the Cenobites because, aside from one of them being this Pinhead, they were kind of a high point for me. I like that we got a female chatterer this time. Naturally, she's got the classic chatterer face, apparently covered in scar tissue with no visible eyes, and lips peeled back and held open with 3 wires that go through the skin, then come out again in the back where they wrap around. She also has a tattoo on either side of her head, of some symbol, and a ponytail of wires at the top of her head, both features shared by the Wire Twins. Only the wires are coming out of a pipe that is jammed into her head, so that sets her apart a little.
They had the pipes too.
Costume-wise, she wears a bodice that looks like pieces of metal welded together. She's also wearing a collar that almost looks like a neck brace, like the ones we've seen on previous Cenobites. Other than that, you can just make out a long leather skirt with studs on it. Like the budget kind of ran out when they got to her waist. Despite that, I think she looks pretty cool. Like I mentioned when I covered Hellworld, stumbling onto a picture of her while looking up images.
You could see the back of her just a little bit, and I think that's an actual neck brace that they colored black. I could be wrong. Oh, maybe not. Actually, no, a neck brace would be up higher, I think. I don't think it... No, I don't know, though. Maybe there's a type of neck brace shaped like that? I don't know, whatever.
Which is a female Cenobites while covering Silent Hill Revelation, is what inspired me to get caught up on all the Hellraiser sequels. It looks like the Cenobite wiki I was using for the previous videos doesn't exist anymore, and this one doesn't speculate on her origin, so her appearances is all I've got to talk about. I think she looks pretty badass, though. Say what you will about this movie, but Pinhead's protege has one of my favorite Cenobite designs in a while. It's really just a much more extreme take on Pinhead. Basically, he has thicker nails, and the grid on his face is made of squares of skin that the nails are holding in place. That's pretty clever and gruesome. There's also an area on the right side of his chest where strips of leather from his outfit are woven into his skin. There is one shot of the lower part of his outfit, and he wears a skirt like Pinhead, but with some kind of embellishment down the front. It's hard to make out. I guess I can't put off talking about Pinhead anymore. After seeing this movie and trying to work out what was wrong with how Pinhead looks, I figured maybe this actor just can't pull off baldness, and they didn't discover that until it was too late. And yet, here's the main picture on his IMDb page. He looks fine? He's pretty decent looking even. I would not look at this guy and think that he'd look terrible with Pinhead makeup. They must have done something wrong. Maybe too much darkness around the eyes. They made the lips dark too, which is unusual. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, his eyes look huge and sad and his mouth looks small and pouty, like a puppy. It's Puppy Pinhead. Puppy head. He reminds me a little of Babyface from Toy Story, but that thing is actually, scary. Though it's hard to choose which part of Pinhead looks worse, his face or his costume. Even though Pinhead's outfit was meant to look like leather, it was apparently made of latex from a mold. They even reused that mold on a bunch of other Cenobites without bothering to paint the skin white or the blood red.
Zaddy.
I guess they just hoped we wouldn't notice those parts. But they didn't do that here. I have no idea why. Maybe they no longer had that mold, or the budget was so skimpy they couldn't afford more latex. But some poor costume maker had to try to recreate this complex and detailed costume out of what looks like upholstery vinyl. And hey, speaking as a sometimes cosplayer, upholstery vinyl is pretty good stuff if you need the look of leather and you're on a budget, so I'm not knocking it. But it does not work for something like this. If this was someone's cosplay, I would be impressed because clearly someone spent some time on that. They just weren't using the best materials. But as a movie costume, that's just embarrassing. Another interesting thing about Pinhead is that he's played by two actors. One is the face and one is the voice. Clearly the face didn't work out, but the voice isn't bad. In fact, the actor is a very accomplished voice actor. His IMDb list is so long, I actually got tired
Jackson
of scrolling,
in Team America World
and I didn't
Police.
even care to see the whole thing. I just wanted to get down to Hellraiser Revelations. Yeah, he sounds vaguely like Doug Bradley.
Compared to the onslaught of agony that awaits at our hands.
If I wanted to harm you, we would not be exchanging pleasantries now.
Without his voice slowed down. So they got a second guy to do Pinhead's voice, only to not do all the steps necessary to make it actually sound like Pinhead anyway. I don't get why they did that. I don't get any of why Pinhead was handled the way he was in this movie. He's just this perfect storm of awfulness. That said, if Doug Bradley was in this movie, people would be a hell of a lot less harder on it, I think. Granted, I'm assuming that he somehow wouldn't have to wear this costume in this theoretical situation. He has an old one or something. But I feel like he would have done really well with his dialogue, and he's got a way with body language that the actor playing Pinhead here doesn't quite have. I'm just gonna say it. Overall, to me, this movie is not as bad as Hellworld. At the very least, it doesn't piss me off as much. Granted, I may have just had very low expectations going in because of the lack of Doug Bradley, and I had heard a lot of bad things about it, but look, at the very least, there are only two characters in this movie that I found unbearable. With Hellworld, it was practically everyone. So I'm sorry if people are disappointed that I didn't just totally drag this movie. I guess I judge it similarly to how I judge Roger Corman's Little Shop of Horrors. It wasn't a very good movie, but considering it was shot in 2 days, it's pretty impressive. Hellraiser Revelations also isn't a good movie, but for a movie that had to be shot and in the can within about a month, I feel like it could have been a lot worse. I mean, Birdemic took 4 years and it looks like this. Well, I finally did it. I talked about Hellraiser Revelations. Next up is Hellraiser Judgment, which I still haven't seen, so we'll see how that goes. At least Pinhead looks better in that one. That's it for now. See you next time. All right. I was probably way too easy on this movie. Aside from going into it with very low expectations, I think I just used up all my anger and hate on Hellworld. It's basically a choice between a Pinhead that looks great but has terrible dialogue, and a Pinhead that looks terrible but has mostly pretty good dialogue. Pick your poison, I guess. I don't remember what oh yeah, I remember what I used for the stinger. To further support my channel, there's also Patreon.
No! You're screwing with the icon! Don't do that!
That's it! We're finally fucking done. This Pinhead forgot the pleasure and just brought the pain. I kind of like the movie. Did you manage to work out how much you made off this weekend? I remember you had some idea yesterday, but I don't remember. The thing is, it's hard to do because, like, I don't think YouTube, at least I can't find anywhere that YouTube has, like, a total of, like, the amount of super chats I got within a period of time. I would have to look at the list of super chats and add them all up, which I wouldn't mind doing, except that some of them are foreign currency and I'd have to, like, you know, figure out what that is in USD, and I just don't feel like doing it. But I guessed that I made probably between $100 and $200 yesterday. So on super chats, I've already forgot how much I made on super chats here. I think it was $30-ish on one of the previous streams. So with $300 on from, you know, the other donations through PayPal, I feel like I probably, if I didn't reach my goal, I feel like I probably came really close. So that's pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Artie. If Pinhead Jr. was Steven and Steven was Nico, am I still me? Who's typing this comment? What the hell's going on? That's a good one. Also, is The Rock president? I wonder if anyone way back machined the Cenobite Wiki. That's a good point. Unfortunately, I don't think I still have the URL for it. I don't think. I could look through my bookmarks and see if maybe I bookmarked it and forgot. Unpinheaded Pinhead is a zaddy. He's pretty good looking. I don't know what the hell they did to him that he looks so bad in the movie, but I mean, other than the costume, I don't know what happened with the makeup. The costumes, it's easy to see what's wrong with the costume. With the makeup, I'm not quite sure. Talking about all these skirts, I can see Pinhead and other bites dancing can-can. No thanks. Aw, puppy head sounds cute. Skimpy costume, fine. Skimpy budget, no. I have such sights to show you, arf arf. The voice wasn't bad, they just gave him very bad direction, that's fair. If I wanted to harm you, I would let Lister play his guitar. Whew. So Judgment filmed and when? Hopefully like early next year. Maybe I'll try to get started on it shortly after Halloween Kills. We'll see. You would like Judgment, I think. It's possible. I know Linkara liked it. I tend to agree with him. Oh dear, Birdemic looked absolutely awful, judging by that brief snippet we just saw. Oh yeah. It was a journey of pain and pleasure.
Glad you liked it, Kel. Nicely reviewed, thank you. We are Pinhead, we always have hooks. That's a good one. These are really good videos that you've made. Again, I love your ability to make horror films sound so wholesome. Thank you. Well, at least there wasn't actual incest in this movie, unlike Silent Hill Revelation. I feel like Pinboy's design would have been fine for Pinhead. It definitely would have been another take on Pinhead. If they changed Pinhead to look like that, I don't think I would like it, though. I want Pinhead to stay the way he is, mostly. They paid makeup people in Diet Cokes. Please, please, please tell us you are streaming the Pet Cemeteries next week. I could, I guess. I need more of this. I guess I could. I guess I could keep doing this. I'm not going to do super long streams like this, but I guess I could keep doing doing these kind of streams a little longer if you guys would like. Ow. I can't remember if I've done Pet Cemetery in the past. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Just a little from the Corsaros and Arcade Soup. Thank you. I love those little cat emojis. They're so cute. Like judgment is a very strong word for it. Oh, like judgment is a very strong word for it. Passable, more like. Hope you do something like this with your Red Dwarf videos, but I understand if you don't. Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about that yesterday. I might be able to pull it off if I made it really small on the screen like I did here. And there's no reason why I can't do it. I mean, you guys can just as easily... You guys can watch the videos yourself if you want. It doesn't have to be, like, really big on the screen. Because Heather and Vincent were suddenly cousins in that movie. Oh, right. Who got ruined worse? Pinhead in Hellworld or Vincent in Silent Hill Revelation? Oh. That's a tough one. Oh, I have done Pet Cemetery? Okay, well, maybe I won't do that one then. I didn't remember if I'd done that one or not. No, I mean, had I watched my Pet Cemetery video in a stream already, and apparently I have. Well, I've enjoyed these Hellraiser streams. I'll probably never watch the films myself, but these videos were fun. Oh, that's cool, Special Aaron. Glad you liked them. Excuse me. Comes that heartburn again. Do Jaws. Have I rewatched Jaws? I don't remember if I did. I could do Jaws, I think. I like your line in that first video. He's just a couple of ranks above Lister, but don't tell him that. Oh, yeah. Everyone here is awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty nice little community I've got here, if I do say so myself. Dina's videos are fun, even her streams. Thank you, John. Oh, you're not sure if I've done it on a stream. Okay, well, I don't know. If nobody remembers, maybe I'll do it. So is next week another art stream? Well, I don't know. People are requesting more of these kinds, so I'm actually not sure. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind a little break from art streams. The only problem is I didn't finish the last drawing I was working on, so I don't like to leave it half finished, but I already have gone 1 week without working on it, so yeah, we are all pretty cool. Okay, you guys, thank God I don't feel as burned out as I did yesterday. Of course, yesterday I did another full hour, so thank you so much for joining me, and especially thank you for all of the donations. I really appreciate it. That's going to help a lot. I'll use the ones through PayPal I'll use for this month's rent, and the ones through Super Chats I'll use for next month's rent. Also still love the line, that's gotta be the rimmeriest rimmerism that ever rimmered. I remember that. Bangs iPhone vigorously. Do a stream like this, please, please, please. We'll see how I'll have to think about it. I might. Like I said, it's not going to be really long like this one, but I could do like 2 hours. I usually do 2-hour streams on Saturdays anyway. Speak for yourself, I'm pretty terrible. Well, you got me there, Artie. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a good rest of the weekend. If it's for whoever, it is still the weekend. Have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you next Saturday. I don't yet know what I'll be doing, but we'll see. It might be more of this. Thanks for the stream, Dina. At some point I will have to go back and watch what I've missed. Yeah, you'll appreciate the Red Dwarf references. Thanks, Kel. No problem, Flash. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, obviously I kid when I agreed with Artie about him being terrible. No. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, hope to see you next week. Always so bad at ending these. Bye.